Sorry, this video is going to be a mishmash of me from different times as I read these different books. I'll have to borrow some from the library. I might purchase some secondhand if I can get my hands on them. So I'll put date stamps somewhere. Hey team, it's Bethany from Bethan Books. Welcome back to my book nook. I'm really excited because today I am coming at you guys with the first of the book challenges that I think I've ever done on this channel. I am going to be reading the top 5 books of the last decade between 2010 and 2020. 100% inspired by all the other booktubers out there who have done this video already. I'll link some of my favourite ones that I've watched down below. But this is my take on it. I'm going to try go as far back in decades as I can, just because it sounds really fun and a good way to read a whole range of backlist books as well. A couple of rules I've put in place for myself. I'm going to go to the Goodreads list and I'm going to use those so it's being voted on by people, not just by awards or just the person who wrote the list. And then also, if I've already read the book, I'm going to skip to the next one. So, got my laptop. Let's have a look. Book number 1 of the past 10 years is Fault in Our Stars by John Green. This has an average rating of 4.22. I've read it already and I give it 5 stars. Book number 2 is Divergent by Veronica Roth. This was a 2011 book and has an average rating of 4.2, but I've already read it. Okay. Book number 3 is the first book that I haven't read on this list, and I've actually got it on my shelf. It is Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. Now, this was released in 2010 and it has an average rating of 4.04. So it looks like this is going to be my first book. I'm going to add it to my shelf. Oops. Okay, next up is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I've heard this around everywhere, but I've not read it, so that is book number 2. It was released in 2012 and has an average rating of 4.07. Oh, that light has come out. Let me just scooch out of it like a vampire. Oh, I'll bring you closer. So Gone Girl is number 2. After that, so this is number 5 on Goodreads. But my number 3 that I haven't read is The Martian by Andy Weir. This was a 2011 book and has a 4.40 rating. How is that only book number 5? It must be something to do with the averages. Oh well, that's going to be my book number 3. Let's go. Oh, another one I've seen cropping up everywhere recently. All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This has 4.33 stars and came out in 2014. Alright, I'll have to add that onto the list. Pretty sure that's a World War II book, eh? Could be interesting. Book number 7, Ready Player One, read that. And I actually didn't like it to the point where my copy I'm actually going to donate as soon as I'm out of self-isolation. After that one is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. Read that, gave it 4 stars. After that is Cinder. So Cinder by Marissa Meyer, and it has an average rating of 4.15. So those are my 5 books, and I'm going to get straight into sourcing them as best as I can, and you'll see me when I start reading my first one. It is me. I am back. It is now May the 3rd, and oh, that is bright. I am going to start catching fire, and Gerald, the fish, chose this one for me. There we go, Gerald. I'll give you some time. So last night I finished Catching Fire and it was like an all-in-one cover-to-cover read for me. Thoughts. I think the writing style really threw me at the beginning and I felt like it was written more like a middle grade than a young adult. But once I got to, say, 50%, 75% of the way through, when we got to Katniss actually being in the arena again, it got me really excited and I just fell back in love with the story, and granted the writing style actually helped with the flow of that. And now this means I can start Mockingjay. Let's do it. Okay, it's like almost midnight. I finished this a wee while ago. I worked out, I showered, I chilled, and I'm trying to figure out what my thoughts are about this. And essentially what's happened is I think it's one of these cases where it's not what I wanted. Like, the whole reason I enjoyed the Hunger Games was the whole competition side of things, with everyone fighting for survival in a sort of gruesome competitive way. But then it's become really about the rebellion, and I can understand why the series has gone in this way. It's, you know, it's the story. But there's a part of me who just really wants to see more Hunger Games, but from different characters' perspectives. Like one on Haymitch's time in the Hunger Games would be so cool. And I feel kind of really bad talking about this because it's such a well-loved series and everyone seems to rave about it. And I mean, I'm happy that other people love it as much, but I just don't think it was what I wanted. Oh, I feel so bad saying that, but that's the reality of it. I don't think there's anything fundamentally wrong with it. It just wasn't a story that I enjoyed in general. So this is a 3 stars. So there's currently a little bit of a difference here, with Clockwork Angel being a bit higher on my list than it is on the Goodreads one, but we'll see how the rest of the books fit in. So my blank is classic, and alright, so it landed on mystery, and you guys are actually getting a little bit of a spoiler for my Wheel Chooses My TBR video for Sunday, but this is on there, this is one of them, sneak peek. I'm going to be reading Gone Girl by, is it Gillian or Gillian Flynn? Either way, this is the one I'm going to be reading now. Team reading update. I don't want to spoil too much because I will be talking about Gone Girl in a reading vlog, but just letting you know I am about 100 pages in. And so far, I'm enjoying it, but it's kind of got this like anticlimactic feel, like there's a lot of build-up. Hey everyone, excuse the mess, but I am coming in because I have finished Gone Girl. I started this whenever it was, and it is now the 31st of May, so that's how many days it's taken me to read this. The first 100 pages was a lot of setup for me. I think that it's understandable. Like, Gillian Flynn has 2 really intricate, intense characters who need a lot of backstory to build them up into the 3D people they are meant to be. But at a time, yes, 50 pages in, I was thinking, oh gosh, is this going to be a bit hard? But I kept going, and once I hit that like 100-page mark, I was thoroughly into it. One thing I have to commend Flynn for is giving us both Nick and Amy's, is a dual perspective book by the way, giving us both their characters in a way that meant we were kind of on the fence about whose team we were on. So when I was reading from Nick's perspective, I was definitely thinking, yeah, I'm on Nick's side, but then sometimes it was from Amy's perspective and I was like, yes, I'm on Amy's side, but then there's like this whole plot twisty thing going on, and then everything is revealed, and it's just absolutely mind-blowing. And I think it was so well written, and the plot twist I did not see coming anywhere, like from anywhere. It was just so good. I also really want to mention that this is definitely adult. I don't know why I thought it was kind of young adult, maybe because the list I had just read, like Mockingjay, and there's Divergent and Ready Player One, which is all for a younger audience, but this is definitely adult. There is talk about rape, murder, poisoning. I'm going to give a few triggers here which might be a bit spoilery, so I'll throw that title up there. And then there is a female character who pretends to be pregnant, which could trigger people. There's also mentions of miscarriages, as well as self-mutilation, but not because of depression, because of other reasons. And there is a character who is involved in cheating on their partner. So it is very, very mature. I do want to say though, in terms of the ending, I'm not sure if I liked it. I think it makes sense in the grand scheme of things, but it's almost like there was this build up, and I was expecting something to explode, something to really go down, and instead everything just like kind of settled. Do you know what I mean? Like that sort of tension, that expectation, and then it just went a bit flat. But aside from that, I did really like it. it just kept me completely enthralled, so it definitely shot up to the top. That's 2 books down now. I've got 3 left, and I'll see you guys when I start the next one. Okay, so it is the 15th of August, and I know I haven't been very cohesive with getting this challenge done on time, but the time is now. So before I continue on, I have managed to lose the footage of me reading The Martian. I loved it, guys. I don't know where that footage is, but honestly, I was laughing the whole way through. I think Mark is such a fantastic character. I love how upbeat he was, and just everything was so much more humorous than I could ever have anticipated, and I just loved it. In fact, I loved it so much I gave it 5 stars. So, I know that there is another Andy Weir book called like The Moon, which I really want to pick up as well, but either way, if we're looking at where it's going on the rankings, The Martian has shot up to the top. I think it's just a little bit better than Gone Girl because I loved the humour in The Martian. Then we've got Divergent, Paper Towns, Clockwork Angel, Mockingjay, Ready Player One. Hey guys, so it's been a hot minute. In this video, since you last saw me, which was like a month or 2 ago, I've got a fringe, I've got an open wardrobe, let's just ignore that. And I am, I grabbed the wrong book, finally reading All the Light We Cannot See. Sorry, I'm just trying to like get it off my book bedside table. Finally reading All the Light We Cannot See. I am 40 pages in, and holy smokes, I've almost cried already. I don't know, maybe as I'm getting older, the emotions are really getting to me more, but either way, it's amazing so far. I never thought that it would have taken me like 6 months to still be filming this video. Like, it's ridiculous. I've completely rearranged my shelves. I'm poorer because I've been buying books to fill my shelves, but did I have anything to say about the book? Not really. I'm 40 pages in. It's great. I'll update you later. Alright guys, so I just finished All the Light We Cannot See. Let me just get my freaking thoughts in order. Let's start with the rating, shall we? This is a 5-star book and it's going to shoot right to the top of my list. I cannot help it. I loved The Martian. It was funny. What else did I have on there? Gone Girl was really intense, but this one is just so heartbreaking. And it's so heartbreaking because even though it's a fictional story, you just know that this happened to some people. I'm not going to go into the spoilers, but just you get so attached to the characters, and then, you know, it's wartime, so they go through some real devastation and hardship, and it killed me. I couldn't stop reading it. I didn't finish it last night. I finished it the night before. I couldn't stop reading it. And so it was like 1 a.m. when I got to the last 100 pages, and I was so tired, but I was like, no, I need to keep going. It was such a page turner. And then I kept reading, and then I was bawling. I knew something sad was coming, but I was bawling my eyes out. I just couldn't help it. So honestly, the characters, the story, it was just so good. Where was it rated on Goodreads? It was rated 6 on Goodreads, and Paper Towns was rated 1st. I would definitely strongly disagree with that. I understand that it's the people's vote and John Green is super popular, but I think for most memorable, this book out of everything I've read so far is going to stay with me the absolute most. I already have put my little stamp on it. Let me show you. Put my little library stamp on it. It's going on my shelf and it's something I'm probably going to revisit. This book has completely changed my perspective on historical fiction. That just being, at first, I never really thought I would like historical fiction, but this one just was it was so good. It's made me consider what I'm teaching next year with my students. I really want to include this book or the similar kind of idea of The Book Thief. Depends what school has in terms of resources. But it's just made me really think about, like, it's genuinely impacted myself and then moving on to the future, potentially other people. Freaking loved it. If you like historical fiction, pick this up. If you want something super emotional, pick this up. Oh, please do yourself a favour and pick that up if you're into those kind of books. The last one I have to read is Cinder. I cannot get it out at the library because it's just constantly borrowed. It must be a good book. Everyone wants to read it. So I'm going to see if I can find an e-book version of it, and I will probably start that today or tomorrow. Holy moly, guys. I completely forgot I still had Cinder left, but I found a free PDF of it and it's about to get started. Now, just throwing some predictions in there for myself. I'm hoping I enjoy it, and I think there's potential here to enjoy it, but my track record with retellings isn't the best. But either way, I've got a free PDF, so I will be reading it. My tablet's on charge on my tablet, so that may just be an interesting thing to look at when it comes to reading experiences, but other than that, I will update you once I'm into it a bit. Okay, so I just read like the first couple of chapters of Cinder, and I have to say the premise is really interesting, but I'm kind of bored, and this is what always happens with these retellings, is because you know generally what's going to happen. I've been introduced to Cinderella's like ugly sister, the Cinderella figure who is the ugly sister. I've been introduced to the prince, and now it's just like waiting for them to go to a ball together, and then for her to lose something, probably her foot. If it is her foot, I'm calling it. And yeah, so I'm definitely going to keep reading it. I'm going to push through. I'm hoping some uniqueness comes up. Alright guys, so I'm just here to wrap up this video. I don't know at this point how many days exactly it's been since I started reading Cinder, but what I can tell you is I haven't read any more of it. Well, I read a few more pages since my last check-in, but I was still just really bored. I wasn't enjoying it at all. And this isn't a place you should be. I really don't want to force myself to read books I don't like, that I don't enjoy, just for completion's sake of a challenge. I've tried it, but I've returned it. I didn't like it, guys. It was just boring. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself with like fairy tale retellings. It's never a good time for me. So as you can probably expect, I don't feel comfortable rating it. I just didn't finish it, so it goes to the bottom of my list, which concludes the 5 books I've read for this decade's challenge. Whew, it has been a while. So I've just got my laptop here. My final order is All the Light We Cannot See, The Martian, Gone Girl, Divergent, Paper Towns, Clockwork Angel, Mockingjay, Ready Player One, and Cinder. Looking at how it's compared to the Goodreads rankings, it's really interesting, I think, that All the Light We Cannot See is as low as it is. I definitely think it was so much better than Mockingjay, and I definitely disagree with Paper Towns being the top one. Maybe it's because, like, I'd be interested to see the statistics and the information about who is voting for them and when. For example, if Mockingjay, lots of people were voting for Mockingjay as the movie came out, it would just be interesting to think about the impact that would have on the whole rating thing. But because I don't have the information, I'm not just going to speculate. But either way, I have enjoyed this. You know, I definitely would never have picked up The Martian or All the Light We Cannot See if it hadn't been for this. And All the Light We Cannot See opened up a whole other genre, a whole other like sub-realm of books for me. I absolutely adored the historical fiction, and I never thought I would. So that just shows that in my mind this has been a bit of a successful challenge, even though I didn't finish Cinder and ultimately really disliked it. So that's where we're at. Let me know if you want me to move down a decade and do the next 10 years under this one. Yeah, I'd be really interested to know and see how that goes, and if any other doorways open for me. So with that being said and done, thank you very much for making it to the end of this absolute mess of a video. If you liked it, how, but if you did, please consider leaving a cheeky like and subscribe down below, and stay tuned for the next video. I'm going to swap out for the wheel from beautiful subscribers. Spinning the wheel for my beautiful subscribers. Alright guys, so just getting rid of the prompt that came up in the last video. It's being replaced with a 4+ star read on Goodreads. Thank you to maxi.mally over on Instagram for that prompt. Core strength, activate. Alphabet roulette. Okay, let me bring it up on the screen. This lighting has been so bad, I apologise. It is like 7:30 at night here. Right, create one random letter. A. Oh, that's an easy one if you just have the letter in it. But no, I'm going to challenge you. Make it begin with A. I'm going to go look at my shelf and see what I've got that begins with A. Ooh. Alright, so these are just 3 that I found on my shelf. All of this is true, which is a thriller, I think, like a mystery thriller. This one, which is called After the Flood, which is like a dystopian end of the world one. And Artemis, which I picked up thanks to reading The Martian from this challenge. Alright guys, enjoy all the places you go in your own reading adventures. Bye bye.